Hey everybody, so welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do just a real quick video on soldering. This is an ESC that I ordered. Basically we're going to put a plug on this side. We're going to put wires on this side. I'm not going to leave those on there because I'll wire the motor directly up, but this would potentially be the motor wires. And then we're going to add a capacitor to it. Capacitor, the reason why we put capacitors on ESCs, anything that could use a high volume electricity discharge real quick, the capacitor stores and helps buffer that. So a capacitor is not like a battery, but it does store a temporary charge of electricity. So this one is a 470 UF capacitor. And most times you'll find ESCs with the capacitor mounted like this. I don't want to do that because I want my footprint to be smaller, so I'm going to mount it like this, but on the bottom side. So what we're going to do, this is, if you look at this wire, this is a pre-tinned wire, which means the solder has already been put on the wire. The solder has not already been put on the ESC. So that's a bare pad, bare pad, bare pad, bare pad, bare pad. So we're first going to put some solder on those. I'm going to put this inside of here, and then normally I will use what they call helping hands, but for the sake of this video, for those of you who don't have helping hands, you can take a pair of needle nose and put a rubber band on it, and then this will help you hold your ESC or whatever you're soldering, whatever your wires are. We're just going to do the best we can with this. And maybe just kind of prop it up with something like that, maybe. Those are sticking through a little further than I want them to, so we're going to pull this back a little bit. I want to solder this and the battery wires at the same time. Get in here. Okay. That'll probably do it. So we're going to pre-tin these wires. Pre-tinning is just putting solder on the wire. There's one done. There's another one done. So then we're going to pre-tin this board. Let's see if I can see this without moving it too much. Kind of hard to do it with it on this angle. I may need to lay this down. I don't want solder going down inside my ESC down inside there. So let's lay it down like this for now. Okay. Make sure y'all can still see that. Let's try to pre-tin this again. Okay, so with these wires already pre-tinned, we don't need to really add any more solder. We can just touch them together, get it all heated up. See, it's way easier if you got it held by something. Let's see if we can do this way. Maybe that'll work. See that, very good. When you first get the solder on there, it'll be real shiny. And if you watch it, you'll see it change colors as it cools. You don't want to release the wire until it cools, otherwise it won't be stuck. Okay. So that has got those 2 wires on there. I'm going to put these other 3 on there just for demonstration purposes. If I can figure out a way to hold this. Without damaging it, of course. See if that may work right there. Make sure y'all can still see. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to pre-tin the board again. Okay. Now when you pre-tin your wires, you want to twist them and then solder them. That way they stay together. And like this wire is long, so we can cut this. It doesn't have to be that long. We can cut it to whatever length we need it, just like that. Of course, you're going to fall. Hopefully you can you still see that with my arm there? Let me try to switch hands here. So we do it this way. There's that one. When you're putting your motor wires on, it doesn't matter which one goes where. The motor technically runs like a 3-phase. Like I said, that wire is really too long, so we're going to cut it. I don't want that much surface area. You put a heat shrink on this anyway, but for now I'm just trying to don't you go off there. Let me get my helping hands out. This is a helping hand, which basically is just a little weighted pad that's got arms and clips on it, so that you can see, so that you can solder without everything moving all over the place. Definitely makes it easier. Trying to do this backwards and through a magnifying glass, because this is a tiny ESC. It's not. Ah, my goodness, it's killing me. Gotta get one more wire on here. Like I said, this is for demonstration purposes only. These solder joints are not that great. Typically, you want to have your hands supported in a way where you can hold everything steady. I'm not able to do that for this video, which is making it very difficult to make this look good. Okay, we're just gonna let that go for now. I'll redo that. Main thing is so y'all can see how to solder that without having shorts, because that's what happened to my Endura ESC, is it shorted out. Okay, so this is soldered up. Now what I'm going to do is I'll heat shrink this capacitor, but I want it bent back this other way. So I'll heat shrink the capacitor separate, and then I'll heat shrink the whole thing. I'm not going to do that until I put this in a build. But I did want to do some testing on this ESC, so I wanted to go ahead and get these joints soldered on there, and just kind of show y'all a little bit about soldering. This is considered an advanced version of this ESC. It's labeled on the board, you know, voltage on this side, ground on this side, signal in between, which is for your steering. But this one also has this additional board on it, which I think means 5 volts. So I'm going to check that, because if that's actually 5 volts, if this is a reducer to reduce that to 5 volts, that means I can run 3S and solder my steering servo directly to this board. So that's why I want to go ahead and get this soldered up to check and see, because that can make your build a lot cleaner. Anyway, if you got any questions about soldering this stuff up, I told y'all before I use the TS100 soldering iron. It's the best soldering iron I've ever purchased. I've had this one for probably about 7 years. I use it for everything. It gets hot. It's got a digital controller on it. The only thing bad about it is it's only got Celsius on it, but it's not a big deal. I run it at 350 or 400 Celsius. That's where I always run it at. So these helping hands, this is what the whole thing looks like. You can get these on Amazon. These are all adjustable. You can move these clips if you just need a pinch of wire. So they're pretty handy. And then of course one of these magnifying glasses if you're doing small stuff. And then if you don't have that, you can do, of course, the pliers. The pliers are not great, but the pliers do work pretty good when you're just doing wires. So if you're just clipping wires and holding the wire and putting 2 wires together, whatever, the pliers work pretty good. Anyway, you strip your wire, twist your wire, pre-solder or pre-tin your wire, and then you pre-tin your pad. that you're soldering to before you solder. If you don't do that, when you try to push the wire onto the pad, it'll fray. And when it frays, that allows for shorts. So that's why we twist it and pre-solder it. And then when you pre-solder the pad, you don't have to add any solder to it. You got enough solder there to put it all together. Anyway, that's going to conclude this video. I just want to do a real short video on that. So the issue I've been having, I've already taken this one all apart, but this was the Fat Viper ESC that was soldered improperly. And all these joints were really close together. So any little frays sticking out was going to short it out. And that's exactly what happened. They're sending me a new one. I haven't gotten it yet. But I did clean all these joints up, but it was still shorted out. Too bad. So anyway, if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. I know this was probably something everybody knows how to do, but if Endura's messing up on their ESCs, I felt like it was worth, number one, doing a video to show y'all how to properly do it. Number two, talk about this one more time. So if you get a new one, you can open the plastic box, look inside. You can take a toothpick and straighten up each one of these if there's anything touching, and then you can solder it up without removing the wire, and that'll allow you to prevent having a short in the future, because I feel like it's a problem they've been having. They didn't hesitate to send me another one. They sent it right out without even talking about it. It's like it's on the way. So I feel like it's a problem they've been having, and I sent them some pictures to their email with a description of why it's shorted and how to fix it. So maybe they'll make some changes in production and start doing those a little bit better. Anyway, thanks for coming by Scotty's Hobbies. I hope this video helps. Hit the like, subscribe if you want to. I'm gonna try to upload, videos along the way. Probably nothing just crazy, but I got a new build. I've started ordering a few parts for it. It's gonna be a pretty sick build, I think. It's still gonna be on the ugly AF chassis. It's gonna have the same axles, the Mias Racing axles. I'm gonna be doing some custom flex blades with multiple shocks and things like that. It'll be the Fat Viper motor. It's gonna be one of these ESCs. It'll be the Endura transmission. It's going to be on the Gladiator stretch. It's going to be a lot of the same of my IR60, but it's going to have a lot lighter body on it and a lot skinnier body. I've already got the body. I've got to paint it, and I've got the colors in mind. I'm not sure how it's going to come out, to be honest with you. When you paint these bodies, you're painting everything backwards. So it's not, because you're painting it from the inside. It's a Lexan body, so you paint those from the inside. So you got to do it in stages where you put the right color down at the right time. So it makes it very hard to customize and paint. It's easy to paint it one color, but if you're trying to break it up a little bit, it does make taping it and things like that difficult, because you got to do it from the inside. So hopefully I won't have all that stuff ordered for that truck. I ordered the motor and the transmission. I got the ESC in, and I got the frame on the way. So I'll still have to order tires, wheels, axles, links, all this stuff. And I'll do a build on it like I did the other one, where I'll get the axles and the frame and the links and everything together. I'm going to test the flex out, and then I'm going to build the shock and suspension around that. And I want to try to get maximum flex. I am going to build that machine for more flex, probably to be a little bit lower down and to be really light up top. Other than the chassis, that chassis is titanium. It's got a little bit of weight to it, a little bit more than the carbon fiber, but I like the way the chassis looks. I like all the mounting locations. I like everything about that chassis, so I'm going to stick with that chassis. I may do a carbon fiber one later on, or I might even build my own aluminum frame or something and try that out. But the next one's going to have the same chassis as my R60. Thanks for coming by. Catch you on the next one.